The singing of Three Gorges shadow play is more distinctive. We have an artistic musical appreciation. The singing can be louder and thicker. The background music is more exquisite. We have several kinds of the background music, and our options are very wide. Compared with the Norse, we are more vivid and we have more musical appreciation. We have talked about that shadow play is originated in the Norse. So, is this also originated from the Norse? Three Gorges shadow play is a branch of Shanbei shadow play. But we have our own features right now. This opera we're watching right now is very traditional, and it is the commons of the North and the South. In essence, what we're doing right now also includes some modern operas with Wushan County's cultures added into the mixture. For example, the local cultures of our modern ages in Wushan County. This has made it distinctive from the North. You have talked about the cultures of Wushan County. So in your impression, what does it mean to be Shenyu culture? We have several local folklores about Shenyu. We have added our stories into the operas, into the procedure of the shadow puppetries. And the puppeteers, they are using their experiences to adapt new operas for them to sing. This new type of shadow play is developing in Wushan County, making Wushan culture more announced. I think Wushan culture is more romantic and very exquisite. We know that it has applied for intangible cultural heritage. Now it's a city-level ICH, and it's also applying for the national one. Can you introduce us to this? Before it entered the category of local ICH, the puppeteers perform in local people's homes, perhaps. And now we have added it into a city-level ICH. The performances every year can reach up to 150. The performances they are doing are enhanced after this. Before they were just farmers, but now they are called professional culturalists. So it helps with the propagation and inheritance of our traditional culture. Put aside the Wushan traditional culture, we are watching this first. You haven't introduced yourself, yes, yet. I am Pantao, streamlining for you. I'm honored to see you again here. Now at this scene, we have the culturalists to introduce to us the preservation and protection of the cultural relic. Like we just learned, the shadow play in Wushan, although has a long-standing history, but it has caused some problems. It is almost extinct. To help preserve and protect it, we have moved them onto the stage to help them meet more visitors and audiences. For the local managers, the meaning of preservation is more important than its promotion. Now we can see there are over a dozen of shadow play troops. Maybe the elite 1 or 2 to 3, and this one is called Tongxin Troop. This is a very representative one. Their performances are very much, and this show is particularly for our netizens, so we can interrupt them and communicate with them. Thank you. Thank you for your performance. Our netizens have watched this. Can you come out here so that I can interview you? I have seen your excellent performance. Now let's go behind the scenes. Let's see. It's quieted down, but we are going to explore what happened back here. This is the leader, He Shihong. Hello. How many members are there in your troupe? Over 10. There were 4 presenting this show. So what's their work separately? This one is in charge of the music background. What's the instruments? Erhu, Sona, and Jinghu. So you can see he's very talented in all these sorts of instruments. You can use all of them. This is Sona horn. I think you can take one and try, but I can't perform it. They say it's very difficult and it's very hard. You can ask the teacher here to teach you. Do I play it like this? You're getting the hang of it. How should you play this? It's a very shy tone. I can keep this tone going. It's like it doesn't want it. It doesn't want to be played by me. This is another part. This is dapo. This is a drum. This is another kind of drum. And other kinds of traditional instruments. It's all percussion instruments. I think it can perform an aroma. of the feeling. So this teacher, so this is the puppeteer. You just play the puppets. Can you show us how it's done? He uses his hands to move the puppets. So this is cow leather. It's different from the Norse, which uses donkey's leather. So if you use two hands, you can control several puppets. So this opera today is Yanzongbao versus Muguiying. This is a very traditional opera. The opera we played here we were just about get to the point where the two people, Yang Zongbao and Mu Guiying, meet. We just interrupted at a very crucial moment. What are you in charge? I'm the leader here, and I sing, and I manage the whole troupe. Can you perform this and we can see it from back here to show us the most important scenes? I think it'd be better if we just watch it from behind. Dear netizens, we are enjoying the South shadow play, Yang Zongbao versus Mu Guiying. The most exciting part of it. Let's see from behind how it is managed. Excellent, great, thank you. We are experiencing this from the inside out. We can see the operations with our netizens. Thank you, our teachers. Can we show one puppet to the audiences? I want Yang Zongbao. Who's Yang Zongbao? Who's Mu Guiying? Who is this? Yang Zongbao. I'm having trouble distinguishing these two. Let's go down here where the lighting is better. They are both heroes. One man and one woman. How long have you been in this business? 20 years. 20 years. So, do your father do this? No, my uncle does it. So, in your impression, how long has it been in Wushan culture? Well, during the Cultural Revolution, it's about 18 years. It was lost. So before it was preserved. So after the 18 years of Cultural Revolution, it was propagated into Wushan County. Before it entered the category of ICH in Chongqing City, what was it like? Please join us. You can communicate with us freely. I heard there were about a dozen troops. So we were learning from our masters. How was your existential situation? During Cultural Revolution, we were not doing so good. So why are we applying for the ICH? Because the preservation protection of ICH have been echoed in Wushan County. Cui Gorge's shadow play is very charmful and it represents our traditional culture. So we put this into a very important catalog and we did apply for the ICH. So we have Wu culture, Shenyu culture. We have Chuan River singing notes. This has formed a different kind of shadow puppetry. So your purpose is to protect it, right? Yes. It is impacted by some modern media forms. So the people who are passionate about this business need to be more protective of our folk art. So we are in dire need to protect it and we need to propagate it and pass it on. So what has changed after it entered the ICH catalog? In a time of almost extinction, we want to thank the importance the government has put on and the preservation we have made efforts on. As a leader of a troupe, I just want to propagate our sanxia, our shadow play. So have we cut down the opera's numbers? No. So our leaders saw the situation where it was almost extinct. So some troops disbanded. Some troops have members who are scattering, so we have regrouped them. Like this troop, this is rather big, and we have organized them. We try to push them out for propagating this culture. It doesn't only publicize the cultural relics of Wushan, but also of Yangtze River, to let the world, to let the whole nation to understand our folk art. They are actually farmers, so in lazy times of the farming, they have performances, but now it's different. We are doing performances every weekend in this museum. And we have workers. We have workers who go to remote areas. So this troupe of his has 13 performances. So they have turned from farmers to a professional cultural worker. So it has infiltrated our rural culture to help our farmers understand more about this culture. You have made an emphasis on this, but as a worker, what's the biggest change? Before it was listed on ICH, I felt like I was just an enthusiast. So after these 20 years, I felt some fruitful results in this. It can teach people things. We can feel the inside of our cultural essence. For example, I learned shadow play for 1 year is an equivalent of learning in school for 3 years. This is the depth of it. This is the essence. I sincerely want to appreciate the efforts made by our leaders and governments. I want that you could propagate this shadow play and that you can finally go on to bigger stages like our New Year Festival's gala. Now let's show our netizens about the singings. I am singing for Yang Zongbao, his hero. While they are in the war, he sings like this. Okay. What's the scene between Yang Zongbao and Mu Guiying? After their battle, they felt it's fate that they met. So we can see his true talents. Like, I can't do this, but you are really skillful in this performance. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's go visiting more of Wushan Museum. Thank you. The opening is very exciting. Let's go to the Cultural Exhibition Hall. I've read some news about our collections. There are over 50,000 collections, and among them, over 1,000 are very precious, and 10 are the most crucial and important ones. We have is the tomb included in that? No. What about the tooth? No, it's also not. Please introduce to us what's the 10 precious. We have Gu Wenyu and Pao Chuyong. It's in the second. It's a jade. It's rooted in the roast fish of Wushan. There's also a decoration outside of tombs. That's in the 3rd floor. Now we're in the 2nd floor. From several cultures. Let's take a look. I have a question for you, curator. How do you propagate our local culture, and how do you combine it with Yangtze River culture? This is an important project of our government and our party. We are using some images in shadow play, like Wushan 12 mountains and the red leaves. We are using them as cultural elements to put them into our clothes and cultural products. For example, the bookmarks or little bags and other things like envelopes. So it's our daily utensils and our things in our life, so we can combine the culture and our tradition. Maybe we produce a VCR. For every ICH project, we have precise assistance to help protect and preserve it. So every year we bring out our ICH projects to go on tours. This way, it can raise our income, and it can propagate our culture. It also disseminates Wushan culture to our local people. Thank you, curator. Let's take a look at the Wu culture. We have another expert here. Thank you. So we are protecting ICH. Culture is our soft energy. Be it shadow play or other cultural troops, we can bring them out to publicize for it, and it can bring up a thrust. Be it honorable or economic. I have learned several cultures like Shenyu culture, Wu culture, Longgu culture. Let's go to this area. Our expert Xiang Chengye. He's the leader of a research group in this particular culture. Our group will listen to his seminar introducing Wu culture and Wushan culture. I'm not sure, but is it both? Yes, it is. Our leader can only speak Sichuan dialect. Please speak slowly, and our netizen will understand. Let's take a look at this tomb. This is very special. It is full of Wu culture. This is Guichu tomb. Their knees are all the way up to their body, and they're buried like this. For this particular kind, it's an image of the fetus carried by mother. It is a purpose of the soul going to heaven. Also, it is said that these people have committed crimes before they died. So people tie them together in order to prevent their souls from going to heaven. There are two kinds of stories, and I personally hope that it is the former kind. Your understanding is very kind, and I've seen another called 建筑. That is the things buried together with the body. To visit this exhibition hall, we have to understand first that Wushan is the oldest place in China. An expert in culture said, "I would like to stand here." And this is the highland of China, maybe even Asia. This is the earliest civilization. So the history is exceedingly long-standing. It goes as back as 2 million years ago. And another feature is that it connects one line. We have Longgupo culture from 2 million years ago, and we have several dozens, thousands of years ago's culture. And that's your culture from 5,000 to 6,000 years ago. We have gained many fruitful results in this culture. Let's take a look at this ball. It's from 4 to 5 years ago. This is the toys the children played. This is ceramic. We can see the work is exquisitely done. It is used also for oblation, aside from playing as toys. This is very small, 1 to 3 centimeters. This is the adoration for magical powers. Generally, the Wu culture contained in Daqi culture is very extensive. The relationship between Wu culture and Daqi culture Wu culture is just a branch. We are very curious about it. It's very mysterious. Let's take a look at this. It's very exquisite. It's not only a tool for daily use. It's more like an obsolescence. This is a skull. You can see the thing under his right eye's place. There are two possible ways. This can happen during a war. It's an arrow. He could die from a war, or he could be buried with his master or something. So there's trauma before he died, and there are rituals after he died. During lunch, expert Xiang here told us that these small ones are more important. These are a shell collar. It's a kind of necklace. You can imagine 6,000–7,000 years ago, how could our ancestors make a necklace this exquisite? The artistic and artifact level back then was high, and it has reached this level. We are amazed by this. Every one of the shell is smaller than our pinky's nails. There are 1 to 200 shells, and you have to get a small hole in it and then make it a whole necklace. So it's very difficult. What was the rope? New Stone era. This is cultural relics from Daqi culture. Let's go onward. This was when it was found. The rope had decomposed, so the things are scattered. Our archaeologists thought that this implied the high status of this man. And then we found many other of these cultural relics. Is this from the same tomb? He told us that a person with high status can be buried with this kind of relics. But then they found that it's more general than they thought. It's not that general. It's not for common people, but we can see that the maturity of the artifacts, of their skills in producing this. First, these are taken as trophies, and then they were used as decorations, from trophies to decorations. To put it in today's terms, it's a thing that we play on our hands. It has a connotation of Wu culture. This is a bearing, but we haven't found what it was bearing. But a particular expert said this is the worship of procreation. You can see the mountains. You can see the mountains, the rivers, the skies made up the words in the front, and it's very great. You can see it lights up when you walk past here. You can see this Wu character. This is not exactly like what we saw outside. So this means this sky, this means the river, and this is the combination of sky and the earth. This is also a reflection of the Wu character. And these mountains, it all makes up the character of Wu. The sky, the earth, and the ladder, and people, it precisely make up the character itself. So these two characters of person in Wu character represents men and women. It is also said this Wu character is an imitation of our people's face. It represents our eyes, our mouth, our nose. This is an experience area, and it's a hieroglyphy. Is jade a meaningful object in Wushan culture? Also, fish has a bearing in Wushan County. Both fish and their bones. So there are ancient ancestors who would put fish. Would they put fish in their tombs? No, seldom. This is a forecast of a witch, kind of fortune telling. Family tree? Is this what you're thinking about? No, no, no. This is to draw your attention, to tell you your fortune. What is this? This is from Han Dynasty. It's a sculpture. It's kind of a witch who manipulates snakes. Like this hand, he's holding an axe. In this museum, we have 10 precious objects. How many have we visited? We have a horse, a red horse. Is it ceramic? Let's go find it. Where's our curator? Okay, let's take it to here. This is also a sculpture for the worship of procreation. We have found many of these sculptures, so the worship of procreation is very popular among our ancestors. People have been saying that this is the belly button, but also people say this is the combine of women and men. I'm curious about this decoration on his head. There are two horn-like thingy on his head. This is like a mess. It's communicating Earth with heaven. It's for information communication. This is the most precious object, one of them. This is made of gold, a decoration. What's here? Here we are imitating our river. This is the world's intangible cultural heritage. This is Wu music. It's a kind of music. We have taken a complete tour of the second floor. So at last we will take a look at this sculpture in Han Dynasty. The height is 78 centimeters, and the width is 38 centimeters. So in our preservation projects, we have found this in our county. This is a red horse. It's from Han Dynasty. Is it this way? Our curator is introducing for the visitors. Please go on. We'll just listen from here. These are the swords used by two countries in our ancient times. These two groups of swords represent the difference between those two countries. So let's take a look at the far end. The red one, the red sculpture, is a ceramic horse. It was excavated here, and it represents the highest level of skill in Han Dynasty. The left rear hand was missing, and it was restored by our workers. Also, the manes were missing. This was a surprise for the archaeologists. Besides this, there are two other precious objects of the museum. Please introduce us to this. These two, you're familiar with this, I reckon. This is a coin used in ancient times. It bears a meaning of good harvest. This is the chime. We have a small bird sculpture. This is in Wushan Dynasty. It's a worship of phoenix. It's also a very important part in Wushan culture. This is a totem in West Zhou Dynasty. So there is a mountain. We're calling it Fengniao Mountain right now. You can see the similarity of this bird and that mountain. We have a group of journalists who are visiting here. We can learn about their feelings after their tour here. Hello? You can go on. You are from Guangming Daily. And now you're here in Wushan Museum. What have you visited? Like this one? And under there are some facilities for daily use in ancient times, and I'm totally amazed and surprised by them, especially the art. They put this tomb on the mountain, and it can be sheltered from the sun and the rain, and it's just amazing. They use this way to bury their relatives. They are burying them on cliffs. This is also a way to thrust the tourism industry here. What have you visited today? I went to Shennu Mountain and in the morning, and I am here in the museum now. Like in the morning, when I was visiting Shennu Mountain, it was said that there are 500 to 1,000 tourists there, and they have built some hostels for tourists to live. They have rebuilt the local villagers' houses, because we can see that hostels are very popular right now. You can live here and feel the cultural features here. It's also a way of enjoying yourself. Also, you can make a stop here to experience. But here you can visit the museum and see the culture and see the local opera, see the shadow play here. Have you started on July the 20th? What have you felt? I felt deeply related to this because we can see that the living standards are completely changed for the local people here, and it will boost the economy of Yangtze River related area, and it will have a better assistance to the environment. So our reports have helped this procedure. We also have another visitor that we talked to. They are listening to the introduction here, so I want to show our appreciation to our curator. And they are supporting us. You can see that in his phones we have several pictures, and this is the Fengniao Mountain, and this is the cultural relic we just saw right just now. Is this very similar? So the physical embodiment is not rare. This is very intriguing. But this branch of culture is very distinctive. We are here only introducing a small part, but you can see more if you come here, and you will see the local culture here. you can see the propagating and preservation can attract more tourists to this area, can be attracted to this distinctive glamour, and also helps the economic development of Yangtze River. There are 32 medias and over 140 journalists in this project. They are using various methods to report to our audiences. Please pay attention to us and pay attention to this whole media group. I thank you for joining us. And in the upcoming live streaming, we are interacting with this more, and we will help you find more projects, more cultural projects to show you how people from Yangtze River area are building and creating their life. So our report comes to a closure here. Thank you. We'll have a better future of Yangtze Rivers